Hello students, in the previous session we were studying about the biodiversity profile of the world, and we have also covered the biodiversity profile of India. And in today's session let us study about the patterns of biodiversity. See, what is the meaning of this? The species diversification, it is there throughout the world. So that means the spreading of the species, it is there throughout the world based on the favorable conditions or favorable habitats provided to a particular species. So if a place, if a geographical area, if that is a particular habitat which can be favorable for a particular species to survive in, then so that is where that particular species can be spread. So depending upon the different range of environmental conditions, different species have been spread out in different regions of the world. Yes, this we already know. But in what pattern do we see the spreading of the diversity of species around the world? On the earth, how these species have been they have been spread in different regions or different climatic conditions or different weather conditions or environmental conditions. So that is what is about patterns of biodiversity, right? So in order to make an attempt to see how the arrangement of the different species is there or how the distribution of different species is there on the earth, we need to study the patterns of biodiversity. Right? See, in the patterns of biodiversity, so it is definitely not uniform because see, you know, the climatic conditions itself, it is not going to be uniform throughout the entire year. So it keeps changing. And we have also studied in the organisms and population, the species composition of an area will vary with respect to time. Andre, ಈಗ particular season ನಲ್ಲಿ if the temperature is too hot, especially with respect to animals or maybe particular to birds, these are migratory. So if in a particular season, if these species are in the geographical location A, maybe in some other season they may be found to be present in some other location, maybe B, right? But what remains unchanged is the species composition of the plants. Yes or no? The species composition of plants or fungi, usually which are not migratory, that means which are usually immotile, those species can be found to be there. The composition of that particular species will not be changing. But still, because of this extensive migratory activities of the animals, the diversity of mainly the animals of any particular area will not remain constant, it keeps on changing. See, maybe with respect to animals, in short terms, ಒಂದೇ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲವಾರು ಸಾರಿ because of animals species composition change ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬಹುದು. And we have also understood in the ecosystem chapter about what ecological succession, right? What is ecological succession? It is nothing but what? It is a more fairly predictable change in the environment. Right? So we will come across different spheres or serial stages anta kariteve, serial communities anta kariteve alva. So that also refers to what? Plants. See, maybe it may be taking a very long time in order to change the biota of the plants or in order to change the species composition of the plants in a given area, but it is definitely going to change, right? It is never constant. So that is what? The diversity of the plants and animals is not uniform, but is very random and uneven. Because it is changing, we will see the random distribution of the species of plants and animals, right? So they show some pattern. Though it is random, we will try to identify, the ecologists have tried to identify, they have made an attempt to identify some pattern out of this. And one of such pattern, actually we are going to study two different types of patterns in this, and one very familiar and very important type of pattern of distribution of species is latitudinal gradient, based on the latitudes, right? You must be knowing about the latitudes and longitudes, right? So latitudes are the horizontal lines, imaginary horizontal lines which have been drawn on the earth, on the globe. So just to identify the different regions, maybe just to divide the different zones of the earth, right? Based on this latitudes, as I have told you in the previous session itself, we will identify mainly 3 zones on the earth. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಡಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಒನ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಲೈನ್, ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನರಿ ಲೈನ್ ಪಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಅರ್ತ್. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್? It is called as equator. And above the equator and below the equator, how many degrees? 23.5 degree to the north and 23.5 degree to the south of the equator. That region will be called as what? It will be called as tropical region, or it is called tropics. And above that will be, or below that, that means beyond 23.5 degree north and beyond 23.5 degree south will be what? Will be the temperate zone, right? And if you go beyond the temperate zones, so you will go to the polar region, maybe the North Pole or maybe the South Pole. So these are the 3 regions that we identify based on the latitudes. And the latitudinal gradient of species distribution, it mainly talks about the distribution of the diversity of species based on latitudes. So let us see how it is going to be differentiating the different species composition based on the latitudes. It says the regions near to the equator, like the tropics, are having more species diversity than the polar regions. This means that the species diversity goes on decreasing as we move away from the equator. However, there may be a few exceptions to this. See, this is a very important statement about the latitudinal gradient. ನಿಮಗೆ ಲ್ಯಾಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡಿನಲ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಂದರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡಿನಲ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸಮ್ಮರಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಲ್ಯಾಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡಿನಲ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್, ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಗಿವನ್ ರೀಸನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಡಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೇ? ಇಕ್ವೇಟರ್ನ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ದ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಕಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ when compared to the other zones. Andre, if you go away from the equator, so as you move away from the equator, the species richness or diversity of the species goes on decreasing. Idar artha enu? The species richness or diversity of species is more concentrated near the equator. Why is this so? The reason also we are going to see here. There are mainly 3 reasons why the species distribution goes on decreasing as moved away from the equator, or why is it so concentrated thickly around the equator. In order to understand, there are mainly 3 reasons here. Of course, before going for the reasons, let us look at some examples here. ಈ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಕೆಲವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಬಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಕೂಡ ಹಾಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ದ ಪೋಲಾರ್ ಬೇರ್ಸ್ ನಿಯರ್ ದ ಇಕ್ವೇಟರ್, ರೈಟ್? ಪೋಲಾರ್ ಬೇರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ polar regions. Penguins are more concentrated in the polar regions, right? So that means there are exceptions to this statement, but most of the species concentration or diversity of the distribution of most of the species will happen more near the equator, right? So for examples, in Colombia is a country that is located very near to the equator, and it has got around 1400 species of birds. See, in this example, we are trying to make a comparison of species composition, especially of birds in different countries present in different zones, right? ಕೆಲವು ಕಂಟ್ರಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕಲ್ ಝೋನ್ ಇಂದ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸಮ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ we have considered from the temperate zones and also from the polar regions. So Colombia, that is very near to the equator, that has about 1400 species of birds. New York, where is it? In the USA. So the latitude is 41 degree north, has got around 105 species of birds, and Greenland, which is 71 degree north, has got around 56 species of the birds, right? So can we look at the difference here? Huge difference in the species composition. 1400 species of birds were near the equator, and that has been greatly reducing at 41 degree north, that is 105, and if you go beyond that, that is 71 degree north, that is 56 species. As India, it mostly falls in the tropical region, so it has got around 1200, so not very less than the highest number, right? 1200 species. There is a country called Ecuador. Ecuador is a South American country, and it is this country where a largest forest is present. The largest forest in the world is present in this particular country called Ecuador, and that forest is called as Amazonian rainforest. You must have heard Amazonian rainforest, or Amazon it is called as, and this Amazonian rainforest is also called as lungs of the earth. It is called lungs of the earth. Okay, we will talk about that Amazonian rainforest later also, right? See, so in Ecuador, it has up to 10 times as many as species of vascular plants in the Midwest, a forest in the temperate region. See, that means here we are considering an example of plant species composition. Until here, we were talking about the bird species composition, how it varies in different countries belonging to different regions, right? So this is latitudinal gradient of species distribution with respect to birds, and this talks about a general account of plant species composition in Ecuador and in the Midwest. Ecuador is present almost on the equator, and that is why the name has been given as Ecuador, and Midwest is present in the temperate region. See, let us see all these things here in this particular chart. So you have already seen the structure of this globe here, and here this is nothing but the Colombia, the country called Colombia. In the previous slide we have already seen in Colombia how many are there? In Colombia it is around 1400 species of birds are there in Colombia. So, and this is New York, right? So New York has got around 700 species, or roughly 700 species of the birds here, and here, so it is Greenland, it is even lesser. So New York and Greenland, if you remember, look at the previous slide here, New York has got 105, not 300, 105 species, whereas Greenland has got 56 species. It is 41 degree north, it is 71 degree north. Okay, so you can look at this. So Colombia is almost very near to the equator. Here is the equator. It almost lies on the equator, right? 1400 species. Here New York, 41 degree north, 105 species. Greenland, so 71 degree north, how many? 56 species. Ecuador, it is where this particular forest called what? This Amazonian rainforest is present here, and this is the Midwest. Okay, this comes under the temperate zone, right? The species composition in the Midwest of USA and in the Ecuador, so it is largely differentiable. The species composition of the plants here, and it is huge differences there, because this lies almost on the equator and here it is in the temperate region, right? Why is this so? Why the species distribution is so rich near the equator? Why it goes on decreasing as moved away from the equator, maybe in the temperate region or in the polar region? Let us see why is it like that, right? So in the next slide we are going to see Amazonian rainforest. In order to quote some example, in the Amazonian rainforest, the species distribution is so rich, and you can look at the account of the different species of plants. Around 40,000 species of plants are there, 3,000 species of fishes, 1,300 species of birds, and 427 species of mammals, and 427 species of amphibians, around 328 species of reptiles, more than 1,25,000 species of invertebrates, and at least 2 million species yet to be discovered. This is only in the Amazonian rainforest present in the South America, right? So why is this so? Why there is so much diversification? The reason is, see, the first reason says that tropics had a long evolutionary time and speciation was not disturbed by frequent glaciation. See, tropics anta helidre, it is lying very near to the equator, where the sun rays are falling directly, and when the earth revolution takes place, revolving, it will be revolving and rotating around the sun, right? So while doing so, it will enjoy the equator region will enjoy almost uniform kind of atmospheric condition or uniform type of environmental conditions. And because of this stable environmental conditions, the speciation, many species, the birth of many species has taken place because of this stable environmental condition. The environmental conditions are not changing frequently, and because of this provides the most favorable condition for many of the living organisms there. That is why tropics had a very long time for speciation, and that is why we can see the highest species distribution. The second point, it says that what? The less seasonal, relatively more constant and predictable environment of the tropics promote niche specialization, leading to a greater diversity of species. See, we have come across this concept of niche, right? Niche means it is a working place of an organism. So it is the place where organism will actively participate in many interactions with the biotic and abiotic factors of its ecosystem, right? So less seasonal and relatively constant and more predictable environmental conditions of the tropics, right? See, India partly falling or largely falling in the tropical region. In India, we have got very much predictable and well demarcated differentiation of different seasons. In the 12 months, roughly around 4 months or 3 months, we will be having a change of season. Right? We know when rainy season starts, we know when the winter will come, we know when the summer will come, right? And almost accurately, we can also predict the temperature conditions or weather conditions in a particular season. And so do the animals, right? So do the organisms, maybe the plants or animals. So depending upon the favored or given or provided environmental conditions, and it is also very predictable and it is not ever changing, it is not frequently changing. Because of that, see what happens there, niche specialization takes place. This also leads to the greater diversity of the species, right? And the next point is that more availability of the solar energy. This is a very important thing because we have looked at about productivity in the previous chapter. You have understood about the productivity, right? So productivity ge tumba important agಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಯಾವುದು? Solar energy. So you have learnt about the primary productivity, right? So only if there is a primary productivity, only then we can think of secondary productivity, right? That means photosynthesis must require solar energy, which is abundantly available, uniformly available in the tropical region, right? So this will enjoy the more availability of the solar energy and thus more productivity, which may indirectly contribute to species diversity. So obviously, when there is a more diversified food available, more diversified species will be available. This is a common sense. We have already understood about this particular thing in the organisms and population as well as in the ecosystem chapter, right? So this is another aspect of species distribution, that is species area relationship, that we will consider in the next session.